Shalom, my friends. Today we are not just going to learn a new strategy. We are going to perform a fundamental upgrade to the very processor of your reality, your mind. I am going to give you a way of thinking, a mental framework so powerful, so aligned with the very architecture of creation, that when you adopt it, the world will have no choice but to bend to the force of your will. This is not about positive thinking. This is about sovereign thinking. This is about moving from being a pawn on the chessboard of life to being the hand that moves the pieces. But first, a question. When you face a major obstacle, a financial loss, a business failure, a personal rejection, what is the first automatic thought that goes through your mind? Is it, why me? Is it, this is a disaster? Be honest. Write that first thought in the comments below. Acknowledging your current programming is the first step to rewriting it. Before we install this new sovereign operating system, I need you to join our mission to awaken the creators of the world. We are on a mission to reach 50,000 subscribers, to build a global community that understands that reality is not something to be endured, but something to be created. If you are ready to claim your power as a co-creator with God, then do your part. Hit that subscribe button right now. Join this sacred family, this mishpacha. And listen. For those of you who are ready to master the entire system of sovereign thinking and divine creation, I have something extraordinary. I have opened enrollment for the Torah Millionaire Business School, but I must warn you, it is closing very soon. For just $299, I will unveil the full Torah wealth system, the 3,000-year-old blueprint for thinking like a king and building a life of unstoppable blessing. The link is in the comments below. If you feel the call, do not wait. When the door closes, it closes. Now, listen to me very carefully. The world has trained you to think like a victim. It has programmed you from birth to see the world as a series of external events that happen to you. The economy is bad, so your business suffers. Your boss is in a bad mood, so you don't get the promotion. The market crashes, so you lose your savings. In this model of reality, you are a leaf in the wind, tossed about by forces beyond your control. Your only power is the power to react, to complain, to worry, to hope that the wind will blow in a more favorable direction. This is the consciousness of a slave, and it is the default setting for 99% of humanity. I was born into this default setting. I was raised to be a good boy, to get good grades, to find a safe job. My entire worldview was built on the foundation of external validation. My sense of well-being was a direct reflection of my circumstances. If my bank account was up, I was happy. If a client was angry, I was miserable. I was a puppet, and the strings were being pulled by everyone and everything but me. I remember one particular week early in my first business. On Monday, we landed a huge contract, and I felt like a king. I was euphoric, invincible. On Wednesday, our largest client threatened to leave, and I was plunged into a state of abject terror. I spent the entire night staring at the ceiling, my heart pounding, convinced I was facing financial ruin. By Friday, the client had changed their mind, and I was back to feeling euphoric. In the span of 5 days, I had been a king, a beggar, and a king again, without a single fundamental thing about me or my business having actually changed. The only thing that had changed was the external weather report. I was a spiritual weather vane, spinning frantically with every shift in the wind. It was an exhausting, powerless, and deeply undignified way to live. Here is the fundamental problem, the common enemy. You believe that your thoughts are a reaction to your reality, when in fact your thoughts are the cause of your reality. You think, I am worried because my business is struggling. The Torah teaches the opposite. Your business is struggling because you are worried. Your state of consciousness, the dominant, habitual way you think and feel, is a magnetic force. It is a broadcast signal that you are sending out to the universe 24 hours a day. And the universe, in its infinite and impersonal wisdom, simply sends you more experiences that match the frequency of your broadcast. If your broadcast is, I am anxious, I am in lack, I am a victim of circumstance, then the universe will graciously provide you with an endless supply of circumstances to be anxious and victimized about. It is not punishing you, it is simply agreeing with you. The hidden mechanism is a profound Kabbalistic teaching about the nature of the human mind. The Kabbalists teach that the human mind is a direct reflection of the divine mind. Just as God created the entire universe through the power of his thought, so too we, who are created in his image, Tselem Elokim, create our personal universes through the power of our thought. The great Kabbalist, the Arizal, taught that the world is not a fixed, objective reality. It is a mirror that reflects, with perfect and terrifying accuracy, the face of the one who is looking into it. If a fool looks into the mirror, a king will not look back. If you approach the world with the consciousness of a slave, the world will treat you like a slave. If you approach the world with the consciousness of a king, the world will bend its knee. This is the secret of all the great figures in the Torah. Abraham was not a king. He was a wandering nomad from a family of idol worshippers. But he thought like a king. He spoke to God as a peer. He argued with God to save the city of Sodom. He acted with a sense of sovereign power, and the world bent to his will. Kings bowed before him. He became the father of nations. Joseph was a slave in a dungeon. That was his external reality. But what was his internal reality? He was a dreamer, a visionary, a leader. He thought like a viceroy long before he wore the robes. He interpreted the dreams of his fellow prisoners with authority. He gave advice to Pharaoh's butler as if he were a royal advisor. He was in a prison, but the prison was not in him. And because he maintained the consciousness of a king, the world had no choice but to eventually build a palace around him. My own transformation began the morning after that week of emotional whiplash. I woke up disgusted with my own powerlessness. I looked in the mirror and I said, "No more. I am not a weather vane. I am the weather." I made a decision. I would no longer allow my internal state to be dictated by my external circumstances. I would choose my state, my way of thinking, and I would hold to it with ferocious discipline, regardless of what the world threw at me. I chose a new thought. My thought was, I am a partner with the Creator of the universe. Everything that happens, good or bad, is a tool for my growth and a stepping stone to my ultimate success. That's it. That was my new operating system. The first test came a week later. A major supplier went bankrupt, throwing our entire production schedule into chaos. The old me would have panicked. The old me would have spent days in a state of anxiety. But the new me, the one running on the new operating system, did something different. I took a deep breath and I said, "Okay, I am a partner with the Creator. This is a tool. This is a stepping stone. What is the opportunity here?" And because I asked a different question, I got a different answer. The disruption forced us to find a new supplier, a smaller, hungrier company that ended up giving us better prices and higher quality materials. The disaster was a blessing in disguise. The obstacle was the way. The world had not changed. I had changed. And because I had changed, the world bent for me. Now, let me give you the practical framework for installing this sovereign operating system in your own life. It is a three-part mental model that I call the King's Mindset. The King's Mindset, a three-part framework for sovereign thinking. Part 1. The reframe, from problem to project. A victim sees problems. A king sees projects. A problem is a source of anxiety, a threat, something that happens to you. A project is a neutral challenge, an objective to be achieved, something you act upon. The next time you are faced with a challenge, a financial shortfall, a difficult employee, a market downturn, you must consciously and deliberately reframe it. Do not say, "We have a problem." Say, "We have a new project. The name of this project is Generate an extra $10,000 this month," or "Train our new employee to excellence," or "Innovate a new marketing strategy." This simple shift in language is profoundly powerful. It moves you from a state of passive anxiety to a state of active, creative power. It makes you the master of the situation, not its victim. Part 2. The question. From why to what for. A victim asks, "Why is this happening to me?" This is a powerless question. It assumes you are a target of random, malevolent forces. It leads to blame, self-pity, and paralysis. A king asks, "What is this for?" This is the most powerful question a human being can ask. It assumes that everything, absolutely everything, is happening for your benefit. It assumes that the universe is not a random collection of events, but a divinely orchestrated curriculum designed for your growth. When you lose a client, you don't ask, "Why did they leave?" You ask, "What is this teaching me? What is this forcing me to improve? What new opportunity is this creating space for?" The question, "Why?" leads to a dead end. The question, "What for?" leads to wisdom, growth, and power. Part 3. The focus, from the gap to the gain. A victim lives in the gap. They are constantly focused on the distance between where they are and where they want to be. They look at their goal, then they look at their current reality, and they are crushed by the discrepancy. This creates a feeling of lack, of discouragement, of being perpetually behind. A king lives in the gain. At the end of every day, a king does not ask, "How far am I from my goal?" He asks, "How far have I come from where I started?" He measures his progress against his past self, not against his future ideal. This practice of acknowledging the gain, no matter how small, generates a feeling of momentum, of confidence, of gratitude. It creates a positive feedback loop that fuels further action. You are no longer running away from a reality you hate. You are joyfully moving toward a reality you are creating. This three-part framework, problem to project, why to what for, the gap to the gain, is the essence of sovereign thinking. It is the operating system of the king. It is the way you take back control of your own mind and, by extension, your own world. I am not giving you a challenge today. I am giving you a crown. It is up to you to have the courage to wear it. Here are 3 immediate actions to begin your reign. 1. Identify the biggest problem in your life right now. Take out a piece of paper and physically rewrite it as a project. Give it a name. Define the objective. You have just performed your first act as a king. 2. The next time you feel the urge to ask, "Why is this happening to me?" and you will, I want you to stop, take a breath and ask, "What is this for?" instead. Write down the answers that come. 3. Tonight, before you sleep, do not think about how much you have left to do. Instead, write down 3 gains from your day. 3 things you accomplished. 3 ways you moved forward, no matter how small. Feel the momentum. Remember the promise. The world is a mirror. It does not give you what you want. It gives you what you are. If you want the world to change, you cannot wait for it to change. You must change first. You must change the way you think. You must upgrade your operating system from that of a slave to that of a sovereign. You must think like a king, and when you do, you will be astonished at how quickly the world recognizes its ruler. As King Solomon, the wisest of all men, wrote in the book of Proverbs, "As a man thinks in his heart, so is he." It is the most simple and the most profound truth in the universe. Your thoughts are not just thoughts, they are the seeds of your destiny. It is time to stop planting weeds and start planting the seeds of a kingdom. Shalom, and may you be blessed with the wisdom to recognize the power of your own mind, the courage to take command of it, and the profound joy of watching the world bend to the will of a king. Amen.